Week 13 waiver wire targets. It's slim pickings, but we're going to give you some people that we think could help get you the win and take you to the playoffs. Let's talk about it on the show today. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy.
All right.
That's right.
Welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you've had a great Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, whenever you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
I hope it's been a good day for you. It is Tuesday, the 1st of December. I am Zach, and this is Badaki. Welcome into the FantasyLand Football Podcast. Badaki, you're looking great this morning.
Yeah,
Feeling good?
early morning here in Sydney.
Yep.
Birds are chirping. A little bit overcast over here, but look, still beautiful here,
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, Monday Night Football was last night. Wow, what a game. I mean, interesting to say the least. I don't want to waste any time on the show today talking about it, but lots of news to cover.
Yeah.
So let's get straight to the news.
What is going on here?
All right, what is going on around the National Football League? This is your need to know news. Okay, and this news is going to be ever changing. But Josh Jacobs left the game. Yeah, Jingleheimer shit. Okay. It left the game in the third quarter, only got 10 touches, unfortunately, with that ankle injury.
Yeah.
Now, a bunch of reports came throughout the day yesterday saying, hey, this is John Gruden saying, after talking to Josh, there's a good feeling he'll be good to go against the Jets.
Very good news.
Josh Jacobs himself says he's feeling confident he can play.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, though, right?
Yeah, anything can happen. I think one of the guys on the waiver wires today that we're going to talk about could really help you if you are a Josh Jacobs owner.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor did not test positive for COVID. Great news. He will be available this week. DJ Moore, Matt Rule, says, I don't know, but I would not rule him out for this week.
That's good. That's good for DJ. Number one, I mean, it's not going to rule him out for next week. They have a bye
Matt
week.
Rule.
They have a
Ruling
bye week in
people
week
out.
13.
Yeah, wait. Why did Matt Rule say that? This is a direct quote. He
mean-
said, I'm not going to rule him out for this week.
I'm not sure.
I think everyone on the team's ruled out for this week, considering they have a bye.
Yeah.
The Bucs also have a bye. Dalvin Cook, his ankle injury, unsure of where he stands. Does he have a chance to miss this game?
I haven't seen any reports. I've actually seen reports that Dalvin's ankle is okay. I think they were just unsure of his status and like how his ankle was feeling. So
Yeah.
I heard that there's a couple different reports that come out that Dalvin Cook is actually feeling okay. His ankle's feeling all right. I don't think there's any worry about him not playing next week.
Okay, we'll definitely keep you updated as the story develops. Julio Jones and Todd Gurley, there is hope that they will be back this week. Daniel Jones, Badaki.
Yeah, look, it's definitely good news. The status is unsure. Sorry, before I say that, it's good news that his hamstring isn't anything serious. Okay, I think that's something that you guys should hear. If you're a Giants fan or Daniel Jones owner, I don't know why you would be, but
Two quarterback leagues.
Yeah, there's a 50-50 chance at the moment that he's going to play next week against the Seahawks. Look, stay tuned. Stay tuned to our Twitter and Instagram. We'll let you know if he's going to be good to go for next Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. And after all the quarterback controversy in Denver, there were 0 positive COVID tests for the Denver Broncos, which is good news.
Yeah.
But, man, would have been cool to have that all cleared up earlier.
Yeah, it's a time frame.
Yeah, it is a time frame. You're right. Obviously, safety comes first in these scenarios.
Yeah.
Now, probably the biggest news around the NFL right now is this Ravens-Steelers game. And as we are recording this, we don't know. Like, honestly, this could change any hour. And we could be recording this, and there could have been 5 different reports that would have came out about this. But it's looking highly likely that this game's going to be moved.
Yeah, absolutely. Right before we started recording this, a report came out saying that, it's the chances of it being moved is really high. So, and we were saying this right before we started recording. What's going to happen? Does that mean that this week of fantasy no longer counts? Does this mean that we are people that are Ravens or Steelers owners just lose out on points and players? And like it seems really unfair, but I'm not really sure if there's a solution.
Yeah, and I think the only solution that there is what we talked about on our live stream on Saturday on YouTube, which is the sub rule. You have to have a sub rule set up in your league. If you're a commissioner, or you can speak to the commissioner in your league, there has to be a sub rule. What is a sub rule? So basically, if you had a Raven or Steeler that you were planning on playing, you would have had to tell your commissioner before your sub player that you select would have played that you want to use him as a sub. And I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but basically, let's do it very logistically, right? Let's say you have Eric Ebron, okay, and you plan on playing him. You would tell, let's say you have Dallas Goedert as well. You would tell your commissioner, hey, Dallas Goedert is my sub player in case this game gets canned.
Yeah.
So that means Goddard stays on your bench. Ebron stays in your lineup. And if the game gets canned, your commissioner can then place Dallas Goedert's points into your lineup. The only key here is, and this is for all the commissioners out there, the sub player has to be chosen before the player plays. You can't choose a sub player after he plays because that's an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
But again, if you're a commissioner, if you're a player, guys, fantasy is supposed to be fun. This is a frustrating situation. Don't allow this to be the reason someone loses. It's unfortunate, but this is the year we're living in, and
it is what it is. It is what it is.
All right, the best way to stay up to date with all things fantasy football is to follow us on our social media accounts. Instagram is at FantasyLand Football. Twitter is at FantasyLand_FB. TikTok, just search FantasyLand Football. You can watch the podcast on YouTube, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos or lives. Or you can listen on any podcast platform in the world. All right, let's talk about some waiver wire targets.
Just pick them up, pick them up, pick them up, pick them up, pick them up! Oh, my God!
All right. It's an interesting week for waiver wire targets, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely interesting. When it comes down to this part of the season, nothing really exciting is happening.
Yeah.
It's nothing like, oh my gosh, these guys are so valuable, we need to have them and see if they work out. Because, no, you need people that are working now.
Exactly. Here's the deal, guys. I mean, we are way past the wait and see point.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, there were guys like A.J. Brown on the waivers going into playoffs. There's not really a player that has that high potential that we're going to tell you to pick up. And what we're focusing on right now is playoffs, okay? Either week 13, you need a win to get into the playoffs, or you need to start thinking about the playoffs right now when it comes to waiver wire.
Yeah.
So here's some guys that we're not going to talk about, but absolutely should be rostered over anyone else we're going to talk about for the rest of the show, okay? Curtis Samuel, Mike Williams, Dallas Goedert, Michael Pittman Jr., James White, and Wayne Gallman. These have all been people that we've talked about on previous shows. We're not going to spend more time talking on them, but they should be rostered in every league. And yes. I think James White, Wayne Gallman might be the most, and Curtis Samuel might be the most important out of those people. All playable assets. And look, guys, here's the deal. This is a very short list today. We don't want to BS around anything. It's a short list. It's straight to the point.
Yeah.
It's week 13. We're not going to give you people that you're just going to stash on your bench for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
It's almost pointless for me to tell you, hey, guys, maybe you should pick up Cam Akers. Like maybe they'll give him a workload. No, like we're way past the wait and see point, Badaki.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when before going into this episode, there were so many things going in my head there. There were so many things happening. No, but yeah, you're right. Look, before we actually go into our waiver wires, we think about like, what are we doing right now? Are we actually, with the people that we're going to talk about or have told you about, are we actually picking these people up? We have been looking for them, but I'm not actually looking into waiver wires because I've already solidified like my player's position. So if you have those players, that's good. Like we can be talking about that, but it's a whole thing. It's a whole thought process.
Exactly. And some of these players hopefully could help you win this week.
Exactly.
And last thing I want to say quickly, actually, if you're in a position like Badaki and I, where you're pretty much a lock into the playoffs now, you should not pick up anyone that we're about to talk about.
No.
What you should be doing, and I hate to say this because I know people in my league are going to listen to this podcast, is you should be looking at every playoff matchup for your defense. Okay? Or if you're streaming quarterback.
Right.
So you need to have a plan for week 14, week 15, and week 16 for your defense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have good matchups lined up already? If you don't, maybe it's time to drop a guy like Jalen Reagor and grab a defense for a week 3 weeks ahead. You got to be thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Maybe you're streaming quarterback. Who's a great streamer for the playoffs that you need to look at?
Mm-hmm.
It's less at this point about high potential wait and see and more about strategically planning defenses.
Yeah.
And it's might be boring, but it's strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely strategy. Once again, it's a whole thought process. I think I have 3 defenses on my team right now. So it is a thought process. Like I've dropped so many valuable people that like people's like, why would you drop him? So you just have to take that into account if you want to win in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get to this list. It's only 4 people, and we're not going to spend too much time on it.
No.
Okay, we want to give you the information you need. But Aki, start us off with the first guy on this list.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you heard the need to know news, Josh Jacobs, it was good positive news, but if anything happens, his backup is Devonte Booker. Okay, Devonte Booker is only owned in 8% of fantasy leagues. So if Josh Jacobs does not play, Devonte Booker is the next guy up. We've seen Devonte Booker. He's been really good. He's been really good filling in that space for JJ when JJ's hurt. Even when in that third down series that the Raiders like to use him in, it's great. Okay?
Yeah.
Plus, which is a huge bonus, he's playing the New York Jets. That's probably the number one reason why Devonte Booker is on this list.
Oh, yeah.
So this is... if I need a running back, if I'm a Josh Jacobs owner, I'm going to get Devonte Booker right now just in case. If you don't already have him, I think if he's a really high priority for me in this. I think he's probably the number one priority for me on this list. Obviously, once we kind of go into it. But if I'm struggling with running backs, if you are a Colts owner and you don't have no idea what's happening with your running backs, if you are a Dalvin Cook and you're unsure if he's going to play next week, and you don't have Alexander Madison, Devonte Booker could be that guy for this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if Josh Jacobs plays, not much value there. So that's what you need to keep in mind. But if he doesn't, this could be a great, great game that could win you a week in week 13.
Yeah.
All right, our next guy is Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic. Okay. Now, look, guys, again, if Tua doesn't play, then this is relevant. If Tua does play, then this is completely irrelevant. I have a feeling that Tua's quote-unquote thumb injury is maybe not as bad as they are leading it on to be, okay? I have a feeling that they like their chances with Ryan Fitzpatrick this year over Tua. And I know there's a lot of Dolphins fans who listen to the podcast. I could be wrong. but I just have this weird feeling in my gut.
Right.
But here's the deal. Ryan Fitzpatrick only rostered in 20% of the leagues. When we found out that Tua would sit this last week, we immediately tweeted and said, look, this is potentially the best streamer of the week.
Yeah.
He went out, put up 23 fantasy points, had a great game against the Jets. And this week, it really doesn't get worse for him. It's the Bengals. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is a great matchup for him. So for me, if you're streaming a quarterback, this is the guy I'm actually going to grab for this week.
Are they playing the Bengals? I thought they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were playing the Raiders.
No,
Sorry,
playing
he's on the
Bengals.
Dolphins. Wow, I literally just had a massive throwback. I was like, wait, Ryan Fitzpatrick is on the Jets.
That was so long ago, bro. Oh my gosh.
No, you're right. I like Ryan Fitz. I mean, your last week was right. You know, he was a great streamer. If you need a quarterback this week to stream, pick him up.
Yep.
All right. Once again, if you want an ageless wonder, okay, if you want the man that is probably going to play until his son is in the NFL, just so he can say,
Yep.
my son and I are in the NFL together.
Just like LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron James. Only rostered in 25% of the league is Frank Gore. Once again, it's not exciting. It's not anything big. But look, he was 18 for 74 last week. He had 11 fantasy points. And he has passed that 10-point threshold the past 2 games. And I think this is pretty big, I think, because LaMichael P. Ryan is out. He's on IR, obviously with that ankle injury. And I think that Frank Gore can be a good flex or a good just-in-case person to have. Okay, no matter who he's playing, we know that the ball's going to get fed to him. No matter what game, I think he has a really high opportunity to get, if the Jets do have the opportunity to get into the red zone and score, they're going to feed the ball to Frank. He's extremely strong. He's extremely talented. He is probably the most veteran person on that team.
In the
league. You're right. Probably in the league. Huh?
Yeah.
Is he older than Tom?
I don't know. There's a lot of people who are pretty old. I think Tom's older for sure.
All right. Anyways, but yeah, Frank Gore, once again,
He's
not exciting.
Definitely a veteran.
Not nothing that like you should be drooling over, but I'm pretty sure he will still be available after the series of waiver wires this week for you. So
yeah,
pick him up. It's steal.
That's not terrible.
All right, let's talk about our last waiver. It's a short show, guys, but we only want to give you the things that really matter. We're not going to sugarcoat people that we don't really care about.
Yeah.
Last guy, Trey Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, out of the Indianapolis Colts, the tight end position. A lot of people need a tight end, and a lot of people can't trust a tight end. And I don't think you can trust Trey Burton either. But he's a guy that you could potentially play in a desperation scenario. He's only rostered in 38% of the leagues, and he's only played 8 games this year because of that injury earlier in the year. He is back. He's fully healthy, and he scored 5 touchdowns in those 8 games.
Yeah.
Now, it seems like he's getting constant looks in the red zone. He's constantly a red zone threat.
Right.
And from watching his tape, it seems like they're using him in that Taysom Hill type of role in these trick plays, or he's had 2 rushing touchdowns this year kind of on the goal line. I feel like he's the kind of guy that if you need a tight end, this is the guy that I'm picking up this week. I think about someone like a Tommy Bockley in our league who was desperate for a tight end. I think about people in your leagues that, let's say, their tight end was Zach Ertz, and they're like, I don't know who to start. I need another option. Well, Trey Burton could be a great option. I personally think he's the top tight end this week to pick up. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I am in consideration of picking up Trey Burton. I think he is, for me personally in my league, he is my number 1 priority. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I have Zach Ertz, okay? I have Zach Ertz and I have Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski is on a bye this week, okay, week 13. And Zach Ertz is still in question to play next week. So I need a tight end. And Trey Burton, for me, is the only guy, if he's available, to get. And I like this play. I really like him. He, in my personal opinion, is a number 1 priority on this list in my league specifically. But yeah, I like it. I like
Here's
that.
how I would break down the list. It's if you need a quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick is your number one.
Mm-hmm.
You need a tight end, Trey Burton is your number one.
That's right.
You need a running back, and Wayne Gallman isn't available. James White's not available. Then probably Frank Gore is the guy there. And if you have Josh Jacobs, then you probably need Devonte Booker.
Yeah.
That's really how we're going to break down these four people. And guys, that's it. That's all we wanted to tell you about today. I mean, we've seen a lot of other podcasts talking about a lot of people that we just thought was a little bit comical, and we don't want to ever sugarcoat anything for you. Honestly, don't pick up Brian Hill. If anyone's telling you to pick up Brian Hill, don't do it. He had the chance this week. He had five points. Don't pick up Cam Akers. It's probably a waste of a pickup. He was getting more work, but you don't know what that Rams backfield is going to look like. Don't be picking up these guys.
I think what for the Rams specifically, Sean McVay just used the hot hand, and Cam Akers was hot in that series, and they used him. After that, oh well.
Yeah, 100%. Hey guys, just want to remind you, you can support the show through Patreon, patreon.com/FantasyLandFam. That is your way of saying, you know what, Zach and Badaki, the Fantasyland Football Podcast, I like these guys. I want to support them. I love this show, and there's 3 ways that you can support us there. You might be out of the playoffs this year, but let's gear up for next year. There's plenty of things to learn, and we're constantly growing this community. And every time you support the show, that gives us an opportunity to continue to build it. And we're super excited for what's happened this year, and excited for what's going to happen. I think even more excited for what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if you love us and if you love the show, Patreon is great. Like Zach said, is a great way to support. We thank you for everyone that's already signed up, that's already supporting the show. We are giving you thanks in advance for signing up in the future. So thank you so much. Thank you for support. Thank you just for being part of the community as well on Instagram, on social media, however way you talk to us. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. That's all for the show today. Short and sweet, straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss the next episode. We're going to give you an update on our fantasy football league, the Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring, and we're also going to tell you about Week 13 matchups. We're going to break them all down for you.
That's right.
We're going to give you half of them on that show, so do not miss it. Good luck tonight if the game is going to happen. If the Ravens-Steelers game is going to happen, good luck.
Good luck.
At this point, it could be canned, right?
Hopefully, probably by the time this airs, we already know the news.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully, good luck tonight, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a great night. We will see you tomorrow on the show. See you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching. 'Cause you deserve it.